They say never look into the mirror after midnight. They also say, whatever you see in the mirror will come back to life. But he didn't listen to those warnings. He looked anyway, and he saw something looking back. This happened in a small village in Cambodia. There was a young boy who lived with his mother, father, and little sister. His parents were farmers, and they were poor but happy. The boy had an uncle who lived in a different city. He wasn't a bad person, just got caught up with some shady people and eventually got himself killed. His body turned up on the side of a road decapitated. The killer, or killers, never came forward. The boy's parents went to visit their brother's grave every year on the anniversary of his death. It was a long trip, and they always made sure to bring their children along. But this one year, the boy's parents had to cancel last minute due to heavy rain. They told their son that if he behaved well for the rest of the week, he would get a special present. So he spent all week doing extra chores around the house. He cleaned the floors, the tables, and the walls. He helped his dad fix the roof, and he gathered firewood for his mom. He waited patiently for his reward. On Saturday morning, his parents went to town to buy him a gift. When they came back, they had a big box with them. He couldn't open it because it was locked, so his dad opened it with a key. Inside was an old wooden chest. His parents said the lock was cursed. If you weren't worthy, bad things would happen to you. Of course, the boy didn't believe that. He opened the chest and took out a very old mirror. It was dusty and covered in cobwebs, but he could still see his own reflection in it. His parents warned him to be careful with the mirror. Apparently, it was an heirloom that was passed down in their family. His great-grandmother used to keep it in her bedroom, but one night she died. Some believe that the mirror had something to do with it, but we'll never know for sure. The boy put the mirror on his dresser and put the chest back in the corner of his room. That night, he went to sleep early, because the next day he had to wake up early for school. In the middle of the night, he woke up to strange noises coming from his mirror. At first, he thought it was just his imagination. But then he started to hear loud bangs and crashes. The entire mirror started shaking violently. The boy screamed, but no one came to help. Maybe his parents assumed it was just another nightmare. He was scared to look away from the mirror, but at the same time, he was curious to see what was going on. He knew that mirrors can reflect whatever's in front of them, but what if there was something on the other side? Something sinister? He was only 9 years old, but he was brave. He slowly stood up and walked towards his mirror. Every night, the mirror would make strange noises and shake like crazy. But now it was different. Now he could see something. At first, it was just a faint shadow, but it quickly started to take shape. It was a hunched-over figure, seemed almost skeletal, like it had no flesh on its bones. The boy watched in suspense as it began to walk towards him. It continued for many nights. Sometimes the creature would lean in and try to touch him through the glass. Other times it would scratch the mirror, then it would disappear. One night, the boy came home from school earlier than normal. It was around 4 o'clock in the afternoon. As soon as he got inside, he ran to his room. He looked into the mirror, and he saw the shadow again. It was right behind him. But when he turned around, he saw nothing. What kind of monster was this that could only appear in reflections? Was it a ghost? The idea terrified him. But at the same time, he was determined to uncover the truth. He knew that mirrors are portals to the spirit world, and he wanted to find out why this mirror was haunted. That night, he sat staring directly into the mirror. He didn't go to bed. He didn't eat anything. He just stared straight ahead. Around midnight, the mirror started to fog up. It wasn't hot or humid, so condensation shouldn't have formed. It was cold outside, so he must have been sitting in a room with a cold air conditioner while eating something hot. Either way, he didn't care. He kept his eyes glued to the mirror. That's when he saw his face. Rather, he saw the face of the entity in the mirror. It was smiling, but he wasn't smiling. The boy tried to turn away, but he couldn't. His body was paralyzed. He struggled to break free, but it was no use. The smile widened. It was a horrifying, ghastly grin. Its teeth were sharp and long like fangs. Its eyes were black holes. They were soulless. He screamed, but the sound wouldn't come out. It was as if something was blocking his throat. Then suddenly, the mirror cracked. A spiderweb of cracks spread across the surface. It fell to pieces. Shards rained down onto the floor. He felt a searing pain as glass entered his neck. Blood poured out. He tried to scream, but no sound came out. Everything went black. When he woke up, he was lying on the ground. His bedroom was empty. The mirror was gone. Confused, he called out for his mom and dad, but they didn't answer. walked out of his room and into the hallway. His family was standing in front of him, but they didn't look happy to see him. They had worried expressions on their faces. "Where's the mirror?" he asked. "What mirror?" his mom replied. "I gave you a gift this week, didn't I?" he persisted. "You never gave me a mirror," his dad said. "You must be mistaken. I gave you a blanket," his sister chimed in. The boy was confused. Did he imagine the whole thing? Was the mirror in his mind? Why did he have blood coming out of his neck? He looked down and saw the cuts. He looked back at his family, but they didn't seem concerned by his injuries. In fact, they looked scared. They turned around and walked away. The boy was completely alone. To this day, he still dreams of the mirror. Whenever he hears a whisper, he thinks it's the voice of the creature. He still has nightmares about the hunched-over being that scratched and banged on his mirror. And sometimes when he closes his eyes, he can still see that wicked smile. Now it's time to make a final decision. Do you believe mirrors can be a doorway to the spirit world? And don't forget to close your mirror before you sleep tonight. Thank you for watching. Stay safe. See you soon.